Now, back to Com Radio's only WWE talk show, Marking Out with Jason Marcus and Matt Freiler. Back here now on Marking Out, our WrestleMania preview episode here on Com Radio. Matt Freiler alongside Jason Marcus and Ryan Simpson today. Talked a lot about the Battle Royal matches that'll be on the pre-show of WrestleMania this year. Also got into some debate on NXT TakeOver. And we also talked a little bit about Ring of Honor Supercard and Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega and how that match will relate in the universe of wrestling. So now we transition a little bit more into some of the title matches. We're going to talk about, the main card, some of the things that will be happening. I think the Cruiserweight title match is still on the pre-show, so we'll stick to that one for now with Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali. So, guys, I want to get your thoughts on the state of 205 Live with Drake Maverick as your GM, and then do you think that this match will be able to top the WrestleMania 33 title match at all between Neville and Austin Aries?
Oh, I thought you were about to say, will this top Roman Brock? I was like, dude, I don't know what's going on over there, but no. I think last year between Neville and Aries is one of the best. It's one of the most underrated WrestleMania matches of all time. In fact, it was so underrated it didn't even make the DVD version. I like Cedric. I like Mustafa Ali. I think they're both great in-ring talents, but I don't see them putting on quite the wrestling show that Neville and Aries did last year. With that being said, I really am enjoying the path that 205 Live has taken since Drake Maverick has taken over. They've kind of gotten back to the basics of where they were at the Cruiserweight Classic, where they're really just focusing on the actual in-ring talent that these athletes bring and not so much the quirky gimmicks and storylines that really nobody cared about. So I like where they're going. I don't know who's going to win at WrestleMania, though. It's really a toss-up for me.
I agree, Jason. I like the way that 205 is going now. I see Cedric winning this match. They've been slowly pushing him over the last couple months, and it was nice to see that he made the finals in this match. I think him and Ali are going to put on a phenomenal show. It's going to be somewhat similar to the Cruiserweight Classic, like you said. I think we're going to see a lot of cool spots, a lot of pure athleticism in this match. I see Cedric coming out on top, but going into the future, I don't know where 205 is going to go, because the last couple months that I've been watching the Cruiserweight matches, I've kind of seen that the light at the end of the tunnel is Alexander winning this belt. And with Drake Maverick being the GM and knowing that he was in TNA as Rockstar Spud, I wonder if we're going to see an angle where it's him versus Drake Maverick for the belt or something like that. Kind of shades of old WWE where it was a wrestler GM and then they kind of put themselves into the title picture. But I'm excited for this match. I think it's going to be very, very good, but I think it's overwhelmingly going to be overshadowed by the rest of the Mania card.
That's a great point, Ryan. Matt, what do you think? Do you think we'll ever see Drake Maverick competing in the WWE ring, or do you think he's specifically there to be that authoritative figure?
I could see more of like a run-in type of deal if he thinks someone's being cheated out of something, or like the angle that Simpson said. But I don't know if it's a competitor on like a usual basis, but more of just like a run-in, like maybe type of rivalry that they want to start. I don't know. I mean, we've seen other general managers do it in the past, but this is a kind of interesting match, Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali. But how much can we really talk about a Cruiserweight title match? I mean, we can't.
It's very true.
We can't spend too much time on that one. So we're gonna move on here to the Raw Tag Team titles: Cesaro and Sheamus against Braun Strowman and Brains Strowman. No. Seriously, we'll talk about this one. I mean, this is one of the bigger storylines. We don't know who Braun Strowman's partner will be. Will he have a partner, or is this going to be like a surprise thing where he just wins the titles by himself?
I think it could possibly start out as a 2-on-1 handicap match, and I wouldn't be surprised if at some point during the match there's a run-in from a guest entrance to be his surprise tag team partner. I could see that kind of thing happening, but no matter what happens, I see Braun winning the tag team titles either by himself or with some sort of celebrity guest, surprise appearance.
That's interesting, because I think I took a more serious route. I hate to say it like that, but I think I took a more logistical route. I see Braun coming down and standing there, and maybe Kurt comes out and goes, "Braun, where's your partner?" And he's like, "I don't have one." And then Kurt can say, "Well, I have a partner for you because you failed to get one." and then Samoa Joe's music hits.
Ooh. Okay.
Because he's cleared.
I love that.
Is he really?
Yeah, he was apparently backstage the other night at Raw, and I think this would be a perfect way to get him at WrestleMania. He'll get a huge pop at WrestleMania, and he'll be right back in the picture. And I think the way the match plays out is Joe and Braun are doing really great together, and then somebody will set the other one off, maybe do like a self-tag in, then the other one walks out, and then the bar ends up retaining. Because then maybe you push Braun Joe, because who knows what the plans are after Mania for both of those guys. They're both main event players, but we don't know how they're going to fit in once the main event that we're later going to talk about gets worked out.
That's a good point, though, because right now, Braun is probably one of the most over baby faces in the entire company, surprisingly.
Maybe over the last couple years.
Yeah, exactly. And Samoa Joe is one of the best heels ever, so I think that makes perfect sense for me the way you described it. So I hope that happens.
Who wouldn't love to see Braun Strowman versus Samoa Joe? Like, that's just
Exactly.
a slugfest.
Yeah.
Now, I'm actually a little outside, too. I'm going to go with a repackaged Bray Wyatt to be Braun Strowman's partner. I know me and Jason had a conversation about how when Bray Wyatt does get repackaged, there could be multiple different personalities that they could go with, but we do think they're going to go with more of a babyface kind of thing with Bray Wyatt. So we can discuss that a little bit later in the show, but for now, I think he will have a partner. What's the interest level on that? Give me a number one. Is this an interesting match, 1 to 10?
I think I'm only interested in it for the mystery of it. As far as I feel like it's pretty predictable. I feel like Braun's going to win the title regardless. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give it like a 5.
Okay. What about
I'd
you?
probably give it like a 6 just for the mystery, and then I think Braun's going to do some crazy spot where he power slams Cesaro and Sheamus or something like that. It'll be nuts, but I think Braun deserves better this Mania, but that's another conversation too.
All right, we got 9 matches to get through, so let's start flying through these.
Let's go.
SmackDown Live Tag Team titles, Usos, New Day, Bludgeon Brothers. Quickly, give me your thoughts on Harper and Rowan's repackage and your interest level in this match.
See, for me, I don't know if it's just because I'm not watching too much of SmackDown for good reason, because it's not that great of a show. But I don't really see them as any different than their old Wyatt characters. I feel like they're just the old Wyatt characters with hammers now. So
Yeah.
I don't really have that big of an interest in this. I think if the only way they do right by the talent is by having the Usos retain after the year that they've had.
See, I feel the same way about the Bludgeon Brothers. I think Rowan and Harper are kind of the same characters, just different attire and different music, stuff like that. But I actually am picking the New Day to win here because they haven't had a win yet at Mania, being the New Day. And I think, sadly, their time as the New Day is coming to a close, and I think they need to get one W under the belt at Mania, and obviously winning the belts here would be great for them too. But I think they get one W at Mania before they break up as a stable, and I see it being here.
All right, so the next title on the SmackDown Live roster will be the U.S. title. Kind of a weird storyline. Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, Jinder Mahal, Rusev in a fatal 4-way. Rusev just being added last week. Do you guys think the addition of Rusev will save this match?
Yeah, I think it will because every day is Rusev Day, and I think he's going to roll into New Orleans, and that place is going to go absolutely crazy for him and Aiden English. And I think Vince now sees that he can sell T-shirts, and Vince loves a guy who can sell merch. So I see Rusev winning this one, and if not Rusev, I see it being Bobby Roode for him to get his moment on the big stage as well.
See, on the car ride over here, me and Simpson were arguing about this. I am a firm believer in history, and history has shown that they love their boy Randy Orton, and they love to give him, titles and big wins on big stages. He just won the title literally not even a month ago from Bobby Roode. I don't see how Randy Orton doesn't walk away from WrestleMania still as the United States champion. Not to say he won't drop the belt at a later date to maybe a Rusev or Bobby Roode, but I just think with WrestleMania and Rusev being added so late to the card, I still think you gotta give the win to Orton here.
So Simpson, are you picking Rusev?
I am. I'm on the Rusev train right now.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I do think that, they added Rusev for a reason. This was going to be a mess if it was just a triple threat. Jinder Mahal, we won't get into that. So, let's just move on to Raw. The Intercontinental title has extreme potential to steal this show, I think.
I agree.
With The Miz, Seth Rollins, and Finn Balor. We've seen Rollins and Balor on Monday Night Raw just have excellent matches, whether it be the Gauntlet match, whether it be the match they had the other night, the 2016 Universal title match. So, this is, you add The Miz in there, and it brings kind of that factor to it that, like, it's not just an in-ring match, but now it also has storyline. So give me your thoughts on this having the most in-ring potential on the card, if it can steal the show, who's going to win it, and, give me your picks.
I think you're absolutely correct in saying this has the potential to be the match of the night and steal the show. I actually would probably say that this is most likely your main card opening match, because they love to put, the workhorses in the opening match that go 20 minutes and still really set the tone for WrestleMania. So I think this will be the first match on the main card. However, I actually think that there's actually going to be 2 parts that what I think happens in this match. I do think The Miz finds a way to retain the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. However, I think he drops it the next night on Monday Night Raw.
Ooh.
I agree. I was actually going to say something similar to that. I see Finn and/or Seth winning at Mania. Finn hasn't had his WrestleMania moment yet. I mean, he's going to have plenty more. But after the last year and a half that man has had, winning the Universal Belt and then losing it and then coming back, not really having a place, doing the smiling Finn thing, whatever that is, and getting into this IC match, I think it's going to be great. Him and Seth and Miz are going to put on a great show. But I see Seth or Finn winning and then Miz getting the rematch on Raw, still losing, and then I think he'll take some time away to be with his wife and his newborn baby.
Yeah, I was just about to say, with him, Maurice just giving birth to their first child, you'd have to believe Miz is going to be written off of television for a little bit. So with that being said, I can't imagine he has the Intercontinental title after Monday Night Raw at the very least.
So
Very
Jason,
true.
if you think he's gonna, if Miz will retain the title and then lose it the Raw after Mania,
Yeah.
to who?
I think either Finn or Seth.
Either one. Okay.
I think if I was booking this, I think it's something like at WrestleMania, Rollins hits a curb stomp on Finn Balor, and then Miz just tosses him out of the ring and gets the cheap cover to retain the title. Next night on Raw, he just loses it clean to Seth.
Okay.
I think, personally as a fan, that's what I would like to see.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that one makes sense. So both of you going that the Miz will no longer be the Intercontinental Champion when we go forward because of having to be a father.
Also, before we get off of this match, I'd just like to note, Miz is currently tied with Chris Jericho for the record for most Intercontinental title reigns. Meaning, if he does drop the title, when he comes back, he's gonna come after it again, and that will be a huge moment in his career, and he's gonna go right back onto where he's been.
He also has passed. I can't remember who the first place holder is, but he is now passed as the longest holding in terms of days as being the IC champion.
Honky-tonk?
It might be.
That's consecutive in one reign.
Yeah, it might be Warrior. I don't know, honestly.
Yeah,
that'd be a fact check. But yeah, when he comes back, he's going to be the longest, or he's going to hold the belt the most time. So that'll be a phenomenal moment for him.
Right, and looking down to the future, if you have Seth with the IC title, Roman with the Universal, once Dean Ambrose comes back, it's going to be kind of interesting to see what will happen. I know Ambrose isn't scheduled back for quite some time yet. He'll be back probably before SummerSlam, but that's just looking to the future. Now we'll get into a little of the Women's Championship matches. First, the Raw Women's title, Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax. WWE kind of going bold with this one. Alexa hurling some insults at Nia that might be seen as offensive to some of the people, some casual fans who don't really understand the storylines nonetheless. Nia coming out and doing an exclusive interview kind of talking about she's always been the one who's kind of been the outcast and left out and blah, blah, blah. So, is there anything that this match can do to keep up with, the kind of women's pairings that we're going to see with, Steph and Ronda or Charlotte or Asuka?
No, I don't think this match is going to be able to keep up at all. I think there's way too much hype around the Battle Royal even and Ronda compared to the Raw Women's title match. I actually started to cringe watching the interview thing with Nia. I think it was just way too dramatic, and I know what they were trying to do, and I appreciate what they were trying to do, but I just don't think that the crowd and or the fan base wants to hear and or watch something like this right now. As for a prediction for the match, I see Alexa winning somehow. I don't know how, but I think she's going to win because there were rumors a while back that Nia was going to go after Asuka because that's another huge matchup. But I see Alexa winning somehow, whether it be maybe a DQ even. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I think they're going to still have Nia look strong after Mania so she can still be a monster heel moving forward.
Yeah, I I don't know. I kind of disagree with Simpson on this one. I think Nia Jax will actually pick up the win and win the title here, just because she's being pushed as the babyface in this one, and it's kind of one of those storylines where she's kind of being like mistreated, and everyone kind of wants to see her, rise up and beat up the bully, which is ironic because she's so much smaller. But I guess that's why she gets good heat, right? But with that being said, I feel really bad for Alexa Bliss because she's been a fantastic women's champion over this past year, and she's just positioned in the card really terribly right now, where she's probably as far as on the main card goes, she's probably in the worst match on the entire card, which is unfortunate.
Right. So, we touched on it a little bit. Obviously, people more excited about the SmackDown Live women's title with Charlotte and Asuka. Obviously, when WWE made the decision to put Asuka against Charlotte instead of Alexa Bliss, a lot went into that. Do you think that this decision to put Asuka's streak up against Charlotte is going to pay off, or should they have done Asuka Alexa?
No, I think this is absolutely going to pay off. We were talking earlier about Miz, Rollins, and Balor having the potential to be the match of the night. This match has the potential to be the match of the night. And honestly, this is just a testament to how far women's wrestling has come, because those words just came out of my mouth. But Asuka and Charlotte, seriously, are the two best pure female wrestlers arguably in the world today, and I cannot wait because they also have the story built into it. It's the title versus the streak and so I'm excited for this match, probably more than most of the matches on the card, actually.
I agree. I see this match being later in the show, honestly, because it's Ric Flair's daughter and they love good old Ric Flair. And
Woo!
like you said, Jason, it's title versus the streak, and I'm surprised that they haven't been really pushing that. On Raw, they gave a video package talking about how long Asuka's been undefeated, so on and so forth. But going for a match at WrestleMania, you have never been pinned or submitted versus the current champion. Like, I figured WWE would be just pushing this and saying streak title, streak title, streak title. But I agree with Jason. Charlotte and Asuka are maybe the two best in-ring female wrestlers in the entire world. I think they're going to put on a phenomenal showcase. I think that crowd is going to be absolutely in awe of what those two women are about to do in the ring. And I see Asuka picking up the W, because if they really wanted to push Asuka, they would put her in this match. And I think it would be dumb for them to put her in this match and then have her lose to Charlotte.
Yeah, I agree with Simpson on this one, because if she doesn't win the title, that means either she gets beaten clean or she loses by DQ. I guess technically that would keep her streak, but I feel like that's just a big dud for such a big stage at WrestleMania.
It's a big cop-out.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can all agree that Asuka will be the next SmackDown Live Women's Champion.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
And the funny thing is, we have another storyline with this one, and this is going to take us into our second break. Will Carmella cash in?
Ooh.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Well, here's the thing. There's been two unsuccessful. I guess you can't call them attempts because the matches haven't been official. She's kind of ran down, and the refs haven't been able to announce the match in time.
Yeah,
Charlotte
she did it
kinda
last
punted
night
the
too.
Briefcase. Yeah. So, this has been good that WWE has been able to keep Carmella with the briefcase for this long, because they kind of botched the men's Money in the Bank. Now, that was a storyline that, was kind of disappointing. Now, we don't have a men's Money in the Bank contract going into WrestleMania, but I think that Carmella absolutely cashes in. Does she do it successfully? That might be the surprise of the night, and we're going to talk about that a little more later in the show. But for now, we're going to go to our second break. Obviously, we have a lot to talk about in the main card of our top 5 matches that will be probably the biggest matches in the show, at least what WWE is promoting. So when we come back, you're listening to Marking Out, our WrestleMania preview here on Com Radio. Now, back to Com Radio's only WWE talk show, Marking Out with Jason Marcus and Matt Freiler. Back here on Marking Out, our WrestleMania preview episode, special 1-hour edition. We had some technical difficulties to kick it off, but nonetheless, we got them figured out. Now we're delved in all this, talking about the match card. We talked about a lot of the mid-card matches. Now it's time to get heavy into the main headlining matches. And we'll start off with Daniel Bryan, and tickets are selling like crazy. The ticket sales are much higher recently, at least from what I've heard, for Daniel Bryan's return. A lot of people are going to be interested in that. So we have Danny and Shane McMahon, who's back from diverticulitis, the thing that almost ended Brock Lesnar's career, going up against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Guys, do you think that Daniel and Shane can keep up and really put on a show here?
I have no idea what to expect for this match. I think that's part of the reason I'm actually kind of looking forward to this match is because it's one of the only ones on the card where I have genuinely no idea how they're going to play this out, because is Shane going to be in the match? He is, apparently deathly ill. So how are they going to figure that out? It's also Daniel Bryan's first match coming back in 3 years. You got to think he's going to get the win, but that would also mean that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are quote-unquote fired, and that's not going to happen. So there's so many questions going into this match. I have honestly no idea how it's going to happen. I'm just looking forward to watching it as a fan.
Yeah, I'm very excited as well. This match is definitely a head-scratcher. I mean, I saw Shane last night on SmackDown running out, and I'm like, dude, you have to be clinically insane to be in the hospital last week, and then this week you're going to be in a wrestling match. That's beyond me. But going off of what you said, Jason, of how the match is going to play out, I see two things happening. I see Shane eating the pin, so then Sami and KO can stay on SmackDown, or I see Daniel Bryan making somebody tap, because that's a feel-good story, and then maybe KO and Sami go to SmackDown, because going back to the whole brand split and saying...
You mean go to Raw?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, go to Raw. Going back to the brand split and saying we won competition, we won all this, that, and the other, maybe Stephanie swoops in and goes, oh, Shane and Daniel Bryan don't want you, we'll take you here on Raw.
I would agree with that. I actually like that angle, and I think we're due for another superstar shakeup here coming after Mania, and I think that's one of the things. Kevin Owens was... switched over last year, I believe, on the Superstar.
They both were.
Yeah, they both were. So, to put them back on Raw makes a lot of sense. But I'm still scratching I don't understand Shane McMahon here. I mean, this is... I kind of looked at really looked into his face during his promos, and it seemed like he was really struggling, really holding it together. He just seemed like he wasn't... he had this distressed look on his face, and he kept, grabbing down at his shirt. He just seemed like he was uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I don't know how this is possible.
Almost like he has diverticulitis or something.
I mean, seriously, that's... He said he had a staph infection. This was not kayfabe. This was reported.
Yeah, he was
this
in the
actually
hospital.
happened. And, the more confusing part is they try to tell us that it was due to the, the beating that KO and Sami gave. You got to draw the line at some point. So, I don't know. I don't know how Shane competes in this. This is going to be very, very confusing to figure out. But nonetheless, we got our picks in on that one. And now it's time to move on to, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon and Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey. Enough said there. This is being booked as the headliner for this show. Ronda's in-ring debut. Is she ready, and is this going to deliver?
Is she ready? No. Will it deliver? No. Yeah. Simpson doesn't agree with me, but I don't see this living up to the hype whatsoever. I think this match will be 100% carried by Kurt Angle and Triple H, and Ronda Rousey will get the hot tag at the end. But I don't. There's definitely they're promoting it a lot, so it's gonna be a longer match. I'm sure there'll be some bigger spots, but Ronda Rousey just started training less than 6 months ago. I don't see how she lives up to this spot here. I think she's gonna rely a lot on Kurt and Triple H to help her out.
Alrighty, here's why I disagree. I think this whole Ronda deal was way under wraps a while ago. I think she's been training for way longer than we all think. And just from the little brief spots that we've seen on Raw, I think she's going to be able to hold her ground. She's only wrestling Stephanie McMahon. It's not like it's Charlotte or Asuka. She's going to be very limited to what she can do, and Stephanie is going to make her look absolutely wonderful. And I see Kurt and Triple H, maybe 10, 15 minutes of this match being just them, and like you said, Ronda coming in for the hot tag, but I see the end of the match working out to where Ronda gets the hot tag, Stephanie runs away, and she grabs Triple H and makes Triple H tap.
Ooh, see, I don't even know if Triple H has... I think Triple H has too big of an ego to be the one to tap to Ronda Rousey.
I don't know. He has a big ego, but I think that they are just so over the moon. The spot on Raw at the end where they were doing the UFC stare down with the photo shoot, they are really trying to push this as a legitimate fight. So if they really want to push it, I think you have Triple H or Steph tap out to Ronda, obviously, but I would love to see Ronda put the armbar on Triple H.
I don't think it's gonna happen, but I would love to see it, and it would make a great WrestleMania headline as well. But I think one thing we can all agree on is that this match is gonna end with Ronda Rousey making someone tap with an armbar. Like that's just
yes, yeah, that's the main. I mean, we could talk about this one literally. I mean, there's many different things. I mean, to talk about how long has Ronda been training? How physically ready are Kurt Angle and Triple H to do this, like they did in the Ruthless Aggression era and all through their careers. I mean, this is going to be a good one. But for purpose of time, we'll move on down along the card. AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura. Your guys' thoughts on the lack of build that we've been given, and does AJ give up the title?
Yeah, the lack of build has been a little bit puzzling, to say the least. But last night on SmackDown, they ended it very, very well. I'm a big fan of continuity in wrestling, and a couple weeks ago, Shinsuke set up for the Kinshasa on Styles, ran at him, stopped, patted his head, and kind of gave him a warning. And then last night, they closed SmackDown with Styles up on the ropes, ready for a forearm to Shinsuke's mouth, and AJ stopped and patted Shinsuke on the head like, hey, we're ready to do this thing. I think, personally, that's enough of a build for me. Those two don't really need to talk. We know what to expect. It's going to be possibly the match of the night, possibly the match of the year. It's going to be an absolute slugfest. Those guys are going to beat the absolute crap out of one another. I cannot wait, and I think Shinsuke is going to pick up the W.
See, I disagree here. I agree with some of it. I agree that it doesn't need a lot of build-up. I usually I love wrestling to have stories, but you have to keep into consideration that Shinsuke does have a slight language barrier, so you can't really expect him to go out there and cut it like a 10-minute promo on AJ Styles. It's just not going to work. So they're going to have a great match, but I actually think AJ actually retains the title in this one. I think he's been carrying the brand for way too long for him to just give up the title on the biggest stage. I think this is the AJ's moment that he's been working for since he got into the WWE.
All right, so there's our thoughts on the WWE title. That match was, we had a six-pack challenge at Fastlane. We knew this match was happening all along. There's just been kind of a curvy road in the build to it. But now, one match that there has not been, there's kind of been just a straight road right into it, is the Universal title match between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. I mean, a lot of speculation going around saying this is it for Brock, which leaves the title in the hands of Roman Reigns going forward. I mean, that thing's kind of decided already. But, I mean, they do get in the ring together, and they will have a chance to put on a show. Do you think, guys, that this can deliver as what WWE's been building for really the past year? And will Brock go out on a good note?
I hate to be the pessimist, but I just don't see this living up to the hype. Roman Reigns, for as much heat as he gets, he's a fantastic wrestler. I'm not going to take that away from him, but I just think from a predictability standpoint, I think I know what I'm going to get with this match. We saw it 3 years ago. So if you really don't know what to expect, watch WrestleMania 31 up until like the last 5 minutes of the show. That's what you're going to get, but instead Roman's going to go over clean. Brock will go do some UFC or whatever he wants to do, but rest assured he'll be back for SummerSlam.
I agree that Roman's going to win clean here. I think, like you said, Matt, this has been a long year road that we all knew what the ending was going to be. But actually, I think Brock's going to leave, and I think this might be the end of Brock Lesnar because it would be a great way to finally cap the Roman Reigns push. You literally kicked or pushed the guy out of the WWE. You quote-unquote beat him so badly. Because then they could say, oh, he's scared. He doesn't want me. That's why he left. He's a baby, blah, blah, blah. But I think it's going to live up to the hype because I think they're going to model it after, A, their match before at Mania, and B, after Goldberg and Brock. That match was 6 minutes long, and it was absolutely fantastic to watch. Right. So if they keep it short and sweet, have Roman go over and get out of the ring, I think it'll be good. If they draw it out and confetti and balloons and everything else, that building is not going to be happy.
I think I'm most looking forward to from this match is not necessarily the ending, but the aftermath. One, who challenges Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship after WrestleMania? And two, what do they do with Paul Heyman? Those are my two biggest questions coming in from this match.
I can tell you right now, Jason, you're going to have him manage Roman Reigns.
I've heard
Heel
that
turn Paul Heyman.
I've heard that rumor before, but I don't see that.
Can't beat him, join him.
I mean, maybe.
Wouldn't be the first time it's been done. Way back when Big Show went with Heyman and screwed Brock. So hey,
either Roman or Ronda, right? I mean, he's gonna be used in some capacity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I like it,
and that would be awesome to see. So Paul Heyman's great. So yeah, I mean we've known this is gonna happen for a year now. A lot of hype up to it. We hope it delivers. Like you said, Simpson, that Brock Lesnar Goldberg match was like the most efficient 6 minutes in WWE history. It was insane. So I would have to obviously say that Roman wins this match very quickly and clean in under 10 minutes, probably with either a spear or a Superman punch. We'll have to see. But nonetheless, a match that has not been confirmed is what we're going to talk about here. John Cena and The Undertaker. So no appearance from Taker on the Go Home show. A tweet from Michelle McCool to fans asking, where is he? Saying they were eating breakfast. So no information there.
No match. He's eating breakfast. I guess
so,
that's it. Wrap up the show.
How are they going to position this? And if it does happen, when it does happen, is Cena going to make Taker look better than he did last year?
Jason and I were talking about this beforehand, and I'm going to preface this by saying I am a huge Undertaker mark. He is my favorite wrestler of all time. I will live and die by standing next to him as a wrestler. But all that being said, I am scared for this match. I am absolutely scared because he looked so bad against Roman, and I am absolutely praying and hoping for something similar to what happened after the Brock match for the Bray match to happen. He looked so bad against Brock. When he came back against Bray at WrestleMania 31, he looked good. He looked like himself again. I want that Undertaker back because, as Mark Calloway has said himself, when he becomes a parody of himself, that's when he's going to walk away. When he feels like he is not the Undertaker of old, that's when he'll walk away. This match, though I don't want it to happen, I think the Roman match should have been the end of it. This match will be the telltale sign if this is the absolute end, because if it's anything like the Roman match, I'm going to be very, very disappointed.
Simpson, I think I agree with everything except the last thing you said, and you said this will tell if it is the end. This is the end. Like, there is no more coming back from this.
I would like to point out we have been saying that since WrestleMania 30 when he lost to Brock.
I understand that, but this is the actual end. I 100% assure you. My only big question on this, and I'll let you guys give your opinions, is who goes over, Cena or The Undertaker?
Matt, go ahead. Who do you think's going over, man?
I don't even think this is crazy. I don't even think that we're going to see 3 minutes of this match. I think that this match is going to be The Undertaker coming out late in the show, probably the main event, and being pinned very quickly.
Wow. That's a hot take and a half. I feel the exact
I don't know.
opposite.
I don't think it's even going to be a match. It's not even going to feel like a match.
See, I think the opposite. I think the way I picture it in my mind is Cena's going to be doing pictures in the front row, and then the gong's going to go off, and then Taker's going to come out, call him out. Cena's going to jump the barricade, and then Taker's going to make him look silly. I think he'll choke slam him, tombstone him. That'll be it. Just because it'll be like, oh, you can't call me out. Like, do you know who I am? Right. But that also might be me being a huge fan of The Undertaker and hoping for the best.
I think, and this is the last thing I'll say about this match, I think this match goes with Cena coming out, cutting a promo at WrestleMania, saying, I'm here at WrestleMania, I've been calling you out for a month, nothing's going to happen. Taker's going to, lights are going to go out, he's going to come out. It's going to be like one of those unofficial matches. Like, I don't even know if there might not actually be a bell.
Exactly.
I think he might just actually come out and they just start fighting. But if there is a match, I'd have to believe that The Undertaker's going to go over because I can't see them having him lose 3 times at WrestleMania. This is his last match. This is the last note of his legendary career. You got to go out on a high note, and John Cena has nothing to lose. John Cena can lose his match and still come back and be at the same level that he is.
Well, let me retract one quick thing I said before we close the show. I agree with Jason that it's going to be an unofficial match that the bell won't ring. So I'm going to take back what I said about John Cena pinning him clean. And what I'm going to go with instead is that John Cena is going to beat him up and leave him in the ring. And we're not the exact opposite, basically, of what Simpson's saying with a couple of choke slams and a couple of pile drivers and whatnot, and it's over for John Cena. I think the flip side of that, this is not an official match, but I think John Cena is actually going to have the best of The Undertaker.
All right. Well, I guess the only way to find out is to watch WrestleMania here on April.
Well, yeah, we have a couple
April 8th.
minutes left, so let's use it.
Okay.
And, let's not even explain why we're going yes or no on these, but I'm going to give you guys a series of statements in honor of Daniel Bryan. Give me a yes or a no. Okay?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, very quickly. The Rock will appear at WrestleMania 34.
Yes.
Yes.
Bray Wyatt will be repackaged as a face.
No.
Yes.
Bayley turns heel.
No.
No.
Carmella cashes in successfully.
No.
No.
8 titles on the line, more than half change hands at WrestleMania.
I can't do the math that quickly, so I'll go yes.
I'm going to say yes as well. I think it's a time for a shakeup.
Okay. AJ Nakamura lasts longer than 15 minutes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay. A lot of people saying it could go under 10, so we'll have to see. And the last one, Mark Henry wears the salmon suit at his Hall of Fame induction.
That's hilarious. I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to hope yes just for continuity's sake.
All right. Well, that's going to do it here on Com Radio, our WrestleMania preview show. We had another segment that we did not get to because of our technical difficulties. We're going to save that one for next week. Simpson, if you have time, obviously you're invited back. That was our Marquee Awards segment where we break down the things that have been going on in 2018. So that may change a little bit after WrestleMania, but nonetheless, we'll bring that to you next week. This was the WrestleMania preview episode for Ryan Simpson and Jason Marcus. I'm your host, Matt Freiler. WrestleMania on Sunday. We'll have all the recap back next Wednesday here on Com Radio. Thanks for listening, everybody.